Potato. Wow, let me just show this to my camera first. Check that out, guys. Hope you guys give this recipe a try. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrew, and tonight I'll be showing you guys how to make my delicious beef lasagna with a delicious potato topping on top of the lasagna. So if you want to learn how to make this, watch this video till the end and you're gonna end up with some delicious lasagna for your dinner tonight. So let's get cooking. Okay, so let's prepare some simple ingredients. For the lasagna, I'm just gonna be using 2 green bell peppers, 1 onion, and a few celery sticks over here. So let's chop this up. That into our bowl. Okay, now let's just cut up our green bell peppers. Okay, let's chop up our celery as well. Let's put it in the bowl as well. Okay, so we got these simple basic ingredients over here. The celery, onions, and green bell peppers. Now I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of crushed garlic and ginger in here. Okay, got a spoon, crushed garlic and ginger, store bought. You can put in fresh if you want, but I like it store bought. Quick and easy. Okay, I'm also going to cut up some potatoes. Just check out these potatoes, look how big they are. I'm going to cut them up and then I'm going to pop them in the pressure cooker to soften them up for the potato mash that will be put on top of the lasagna. Okay, I'm going to pressure cook my potatoes over here. I want very soft potato mash when I put the potato mash on top of the lasagna. Okay, let's cook up our mincemeat first. Over here I got 1 kg of mincemeat over here. Just cook up the mincemeat nicely and then we will start to cook up the vegetables to mix it up with this mince over here. Okay, the mince looks like it's almost ready. I'm just going to season the mince a bit first before I take it out. Okay, let me turn down the heat. Okay, first I'm going to just give it a quick sprinkle of salt all around. Just like that. You don't want to add teaspoons and all that stuff. Just a quick sprinkle is enough. Then a little quick sprinkle of white pepper as well. Also not too much. Now we need to add in a good amount of sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll start with 4 teaspoons first. We might need to adjust later on. And my final spice that I'll be using is some chicken bouillon powder, about 1 teaspoon here. More or less it doesn't matter. It's just when you add more it will taste more saltier. So let's turn up the heat on high and give this a quick stir fry. And then once it's all mixed up, we can take this out and we can start to cook our veggies. Okay, you can see now I'm stir frying this on high heat. You can see a lot of like water moisture is coming out from this mincemeat. And this is like it's the meat's impurities over here, and we don't want this. So when we're taking out the mince, we gotta leave out this dirty kind of impurity water coming out from the mince. Okay, I took out the mince, left with this impurity over here, and let's clean the wok and stir fry our veggies. Okay, let's stir fry our veggies here. Okay, let's give it a good stir fry. We're going to stir fry the veggies for 2 to 3 minutes. Then we'll add in the mincemeat. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of Chinese rice wine. This will help the veggies soften up very quickly. And I'm also going to sprinkle just a tiny bit of salt as well. Okay, let's give it a good stir fry. You don't want the vegetables to be too soft, so you just want it just right. Just want all the flavors to come out from all these veggies. Okay, it should be ready. Let's dump in the mincemeat. Okay, let's mix this up. Smelling very good. Okay, we're just going to stir fry this for a minute or two, and then we'll add in some crushed tomatoes. Okay, it should be ready. Let me just add in some crushed tomatoes. Here I've got some crushed tomatoes. Look at that. This is like 700 grams. Let's pour that in. You want a very delicious saucy lasagna. We pour all of that in here. Okay, let's mix it up. Okay, we'll let this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're gonna taste it and add in some spices or more sugar to make this very tasty. Okay, before we add in more seasonings and sauces, we're first going to add in a good amount of green peas in here as well. I love lasagna with green peas. Let's tune up the heat and mix this up. Wow, looking so good. Okay, let's tune down the heat a little bit. Let's give this a little taste. Okay, it tastes like it needs more salt, but first I'm going to add in the oyster sauce. Good amount of oyster sauce. And then I'm also going to drizzle some light soy sauce, which is salty. That's why I don't need to add in salt. Now tune up the heat and give this a good mix before we taste it again. I can see it also requires a little bit more sugar. Okay, let's taste it a little bit. Tastes good. It's the right taste, not too sugary, not too salty, just the right amount of flavor. Now to make this more Italian, we're adding some oregano. Okay, got some oregano here. Just sprinkle all on top here, a good amount. Just like that. That should be fine. Tune up the heat. Just mix it up. Okay, let's give this a quick taste. Perfect. Just like that, guys. We made our lasagna sauce over here. Now let's make our bechamel sauce. Okay, let's make our bechamel sauce. Here I've got a piece of butter. Put that in, let it melt. Okay, now the butter is melted. I'm going to tune down the heat to the lowest. And I'm going to pour in some all-purpose flour. Okay, I added in about 2 tablespoons. Just enough for the butter. I'm just going to mix it up. Very basic, easy bechamel sauce. If you want a very thick sauce, you've got to add in more flour. If you want a very saucy sauce, don't add too much flour, because the flour acts like it's almost like a cornstarch slurry. Okay, now you gave this a good mix, just like that. We're going to add in some milk. Add in the milk slowly and just mix it up first. When we're mixing this, we're doing this on the lowest heat, because if you increase the heat too much, it will start to thicken up very fast, and you don't want that at this stage. Okay, once it's dissolved in the first layer of milk, we can start to add in more milk. This time I added in a lot, so I'm going to tune the heat up a little bit, about 30% of heat. So mix that up. Once it starts to, you start to see some steam coming out of the milk, then we can start to add in more milk. For now, I'm gonna just sprinkle some salt. Also going to sprinkle some white pepper and a little bit of nutmeg. Just like that. And also a sprinkle of oregano. Okay, let's keep on mixing this up. We want a saucy lasagna, so I have to make a lot of this bechamel sauce. Okay, I'm going to lower the heat for now. And I'm going to cut up some cheese. Okay, I cut up 3 slices of cheddar cheese over here and let's put that in. And I also got 2 slices of Gouda cheese. You know, other Westerners, they make the bechamel sauce, they add tons of cheese, but this is just enough. So I'm just going to tune up the heat now and let this melt. Always keep on stirring because now we increase the heat and the sauce will start to thicken up, so we might need to add in more milk. Okay, you can see it's starting to heat up and bubble up, and the sauce is getting very thick because the flour is thickening up the sauce. Now just gonna add in more milk. You need to decide how much bechamel sauce you want for your lasagna. I want it very saucy, but also not too saucy, just a bit thicker. Since the minced meat already has a lot of sauce as well, so this is going to be a delicious saucy lasagna over here. Add in one more tiny bit amount of milk and that's it. Now just let this boil up and let it thicken, and then we can assemble our lasagna. Okay, so I'm using this pan here to make my lasagna tonight. And so I've got here about 18 sheets of lasagna over here. So first I'm going to just add in some hot water just to loosen up the pasta sheets over here. Add in the hot water here and then just let it rest for about 5 minutes. Okay, let's assemble our lasagna over here. Okay, first we're going to pour in some bechamel sauce for the base. You don't need to put too much for the base because when we add in the rest of the bechamel sauce on top of the lasagna, a lot of the sauce will already come down towards the base of this tray over here. Okay, let's add in some lasagna sheets over here. Add in 12 sheets. Now you can see the pasta sheets is a bit soft. Then it will cook nicely in the oven. Okay, next we're gonna add in some mince. Add in our delicious mince over here. Put the mince evenly all the way to the corners as well. Okay, next we're gonna add in some mozzarella slices to the mincemeat over here, and then when it melts, you'll make the lasagna stick together. Okay, now we're gonna pour in some bechamel sauce, just like that. Okay, you don't need to even it out. And yeah, same procedure, let's add in our lasagna sheet. Okay, now let's add in our mince again. Still have a lot of mince here, so let's make sure that I put all of this in here. The center part will have the most mince. Okay, spread it out again. Now for the center part, we're going to add in more cheese. This time I'm going to add in some mozzarella and also some Gouda cheese. Okay, mozzarella slices here. Also some white Gouda. So you can get a taste of different cheeses in this lasagna over here. Okay, that's enough. Don't want too much. Let's pour in our bechamel sauce. Okay, save some for the top as well. Okay, let's layer our final layer of lasagna sheets. Damn, I hope my tray is tall enough for the potato mash. Okay, there you go, the final layer. Now let's add in all our mince over here. Let's even it out. This is gonna feed a lot of people here. Okay, let's put on more cheese. Adding our mozzarella and some Gouda cheese. You need enough cheese or else the lasagna won't stick together. Okay, just adding the rest of our bechamel sauce. Bechamel sauce has cheese also, so the lasagna will stick together. Okay, putting all that bechamel sauce. Okay, here's my boiled potatoes. So before we mash it, just gonna add in some butter. Just like that, not too much. Going to dust it with some salt. Also some white pepper. Also gonna dust it with some oregano. Gonna add in 1 teaspoon of sugar. And that's it, guys. We're just going to mash this up and then we will top it on top of the lasagna. Mash it up and mix it up nicely. This is gonna be a very crispy coating once we oven the lasagna. Other potato mashers, I know they add in like some milk and all that, but when I always make this recipe, I don't add in that milk and it comes out very tasty and delicious with that crispy potato crust. Okay guys, so I have mashed up my potatoes over here nicely. Now I'm gonna place it on top of this dish, this lasagna over here. So I'm gonna just use like a tablespoon over here. Just make little sachets like this. Just place it on top. We're gonna just do this to make sure everywhere is even. Then we will spread it out nicely. I don't know, I don't see people like put like a potato mash crust for lasagna. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try. It's an easy recipe to make, but it will take a little bit of time to make, but the end result, you get a lot of food for dinner, and you can take this for lunch at your workplace, or you can eat it for breakfast if you like to eat heavy foods in the morning. Can't wait to oven this and eat this for dinner. My family is already home from work, so they're all waiting for this dish. It's almost ready. The sun has come down already. Started at 4 p.m. making this, and now it's 6 p.m. so it took nearly 2 hours. That's what the potatoes over here. Now the simple step is just to mash it up on top, spread it, just press it into the dish. I just made enough potatoes. Wow, this tray could be nearly 5 kgs of food over here. Okay, finally, let's sprinkle some parsley on top. And sprinkle a little bit of oregano as well to give it that Italian flavor. Okay, now I'm gonna preheat my oven to 220 degrees Celsius, and we're gonna oven this for about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay guys, the oven is hot enough. Damn, this dish feels nearly like 7 to 10 kilograms over here. Let's pop it in the oven. Okay, for about 30 to 40 minutes. Let's do this. Okay guys, it's ready. Let's take this out. I switched off the oven after 25 minutes, so I left it in for another 10 minutes. Oh wow, all that steam. Wow, nice crispy golden potato. Wow, let me just show this to my camera first. Wow, check that out. Oh, so delicious. It's time to feast, guys. Okay, guys, it's time to plate. Let's check this out. Oh, yeah. Smelling so good. Let it cool down. Oh, yeah. Wow. Get a little fork. Wow. Just check that out. Check that out, guys. Hope you guys give this recipe a try. Look at this deliciousness. Okay, hi guys, let's try this out. Look at this deliciousness. Wow. Potato crust lasagna. Wow, the crust on top, nice and mashy. With that lasagna here. Let's give this a try. Check out the spice here. Wow, let's taste. So delicious, guys. Give this recipe a try and let me know how it went. Yummy.